Welcome back to the Qt Developer. Okay, so let's take a look where we left off. So here's our code. So this is what I need to do. I need to basically take the data coming in and populate the struct. So I'm going to need this date. That's the first thing. So we go take a look at the code. I started here to create my vector of candles. Now I'm going to create a structure of the candle itself. Now I need to populate it. So that's the date. So I now need to actually take the date, the literary arranging. That needs to be capitalized. And we should be good to go. So let's go test it. Here it is. Here's our date coming in. And then that's what we see. Now, here's the issue. Actually, no, that's fine. There's no issue. There's our date. This is our date that'll be stored inside of that struct. Oops. Okay. Now let's go back to the code. All right. Next thing I need to do. Okay, so I look at this. This is something that's kind of annoying. But look at that. Here's the value, or here's the key. Here's the value. So we go 1.open, 2, 3, 4. This is just the format of the JSON file. So now coming back to our code, here we go. In order for me to get this, I need one dot open. And now if we look at the open, let's try to build this again and make sure that we're actually getting the right data. There it is. So there's our data. Okay, let's try this. I may have to convert it to the string first. Okay. Let's go ahead and give it a whirl. And there's the open. And let's go ahead. Now let's do this. Oh, whoops. All right, so the high should be good. So we'll just spot check. Okay, that's good. Let's see if the volume is working. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so everything seems to be okay. Now what I need to do is I now need just to take my daily candle and push it. So my daily candle, push back, temp candle. Now, I could have done this all in one step, where I push back the candle and then add to it. Which, you know what? Excuse me, why not do that? Let's make it better. Make better. So let's see. Let's take this. Let's see if we can make this better. Where do I create my daily candle? Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take the daily candle and then get the date and do this. Okay. And let's get rid of all that. And let's get rid of all that. So, I may be breaking it. But we shall see. So I want to take this. And let's do this. Oops. Oops. There. So here, this is going to be the open. This is going to be the high. That's going to be the low. And this is going to be the volume. There. Now let's just make it look pretty. Okay. Almost. There we go. Now it looks all pretty. So now let's take this. Actually, let's take the date and put it up here. And now let's see if... Can I print that? No. You... Darn you. Now let's just check the close. We'll go through and check these out in a minute. I just want to see it, spot check it. All right, so that works. Okay, beautiful. There, now everything's kind of in one thing. So now, I'll keep this. Now we got to test it. So now let's go through and run our loop. And we'll run a loop on C0, which would be the candle, and daily candles. Okay, and then let's do a qdebug. And I'm going to qdebug C0 dot open. qdebug C0 dot I. Forgot that. So let's take this there. So high, low, close, and the volume. There. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's do, well, for every one, I want to kind of separate it. Let's just do a bunch like this. Oops. There. All right, now let me test. So it's all built. Let's go through and run. There we go. Now here it is. Here's all of our candle data. Look at that. All the candle data, everything we need. Now I'm going through really fast. There's about 100 candles in here. So you have the open, high, low, close, and the volume. Beautiful. So we now have everything we need. Let's go back to the code. And here's our structure, the struct. stores all the data. Here's our cat file, which points to the JSON. Here, whoops. We read all the contents of the file, close the file, then create your JSON document. Remember, this is what we need. This is the value we need. This is the beginning tag that we need for all that candle data. I then create a vector for which I'm going to store all of the information from that JSON file, push it into the vector. Then once that vector is filled, I can go ahead now and test it out. So now I know I have all that data. And I'll keep playing with this. The next one, maybe we'll just play around with the actual data itself. We'll make a moving average. We'll play around. See what we can do with the actual data. To play around these things, I find it much more, much easier, and you can make more discovery when I play around in the console. Because I don't have to draw anything, and it's not as cumbersome. And kind of get familiar with how to read these JSON files, how to view the data, and then really how to visualize what it is that I actually want to draw on the screen. Because if I'm not able to visualize that, then it's kind of useless for me. So we'll play around with this. I'll make a bunch more episodes. Next several episodes will be in the console file, and I'll play around with this data. We could do a few things. All right, so thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment.